Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Art, Money, Success podcast. I am your host, Maria Brophy, and today we're going to talk about making money with art. Can you earn six figures? Can you earn over 100 grand a year without selling originals? This was a question that came in, and the answer is yes, of course you can. Photographers do it all the time, digital artists do it all the time, graphic designers do it all the time. There are a few things that you need to know, though, to be able to do that. And one is that you need to be able to reach people with whatever you're selling. So I imagine if you are not selling your original paintings, let's say that you're a painter and you're going to hold on to your originals. Now I know one artist that told me she's holding on to her originals for at least 20 years. She is only selling high quality canvas prints of her artwork. Now, if this is something you want to do, you can do it and you can make money from it, but you have to be able to reach the people who want to buy it. So, how do you do that? Okay, multiple ways, and I'm just going to name a few of them, and then I'll go into detail for each one. One is through social media, which most of us know how to do. Some of us love it, some of us hate it. Social media is, however, getting more and more difficult to get in front of the right people. And that's the next thing I want to say is you have to reach the right people, not other artists who want to see what you're doing. You have to be able to reach buyers who usually are not artists. Oftentimes they are doing something else for a living. The next thing is having a website that can reach people. Now, just putting a website up doesn't do it anymore. Oh my God, I remember the good old days when we put Drew's website up. It was 1998. Almost nobody had a website back then. Artists surely didn't. And that was how we got a lot of sales back then, even though we weren't selling directly online because there wasn't a way to do it for people who didn't have $1 million back then. But we put the art online with a phone number, an email address, and people would reach us that way. Yeah, it was times were different back then. Now to get people to your website, you have to advertise, or you have to collaborate with other people, or you have to get another company or entity that has a huge audience and get them to introduce you to their audience. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. And I've talked about it in other podcasts. I'm not going to go deep into it right here, right now. I'm just skimming the surface of what you need to do. Now, there is another thing that has worked for us to get sales of Drew's art prints, and that is through email blasts. The email list is not dead. A lot of people will say, oh, well, I don't open emails. Well, let me tell you, the people who buy from us, they are opening the emails. They're reading the emails. There is an art to sending emails, much like there's an art to posting posts that people are going to read. You have to only send an email in a way that's going to capture their attention and make them want to read it, make them curious enough to want to open it up and read it. Of course, this requires you developing and nurturing your email list, nurturing your online followers. You have to nurture, no matter what avenue you take, whether it's social media, advertising, email blasts, collaborations, I don't care which one works for you or all of them. You have to nurture whatever it is you're working on. Now, what do I mean by nurture? I mean, you have to connect with the people. You have to make friendships with them. You have to care about them. You have to speak their language. You have to give them what they're interested in. You can't just throw something out there and say, okay, let's see who's going to buy from me. You really have to connect with people. And if you don't know how to do that, don't feel bad about it. A lot of people don't know how to connect with people. But if that is your problem, if that's the core issue that you have, learn how to connect with other people. How do you learn? See what other people are doing to connect with people and mimic that activity. Now, I know some of you are going, I don't know about this, but just look at the artists that are out there with huge audiences and see what they're doing. All right, now I'm going to give you one last tip, and this one's so easy that all of you listening are going to go do it. I want you to gather together 4 or 5 other artist friends, and you make a pact and you say, okay, we are going to, every week, one of us is going to be the featured artist on the rest of us online platforms. And what you do is you make a pact, and every week one of you gets your turn and you are featured on someone's feed or in their stories, somewhere in their newsletter, where you all bump each other up. Now, this works for artists that have big followings. This works for artists that have little followings. It's called a collaboration where you help each other. Book authors do this all the time. There's an author named Jack Canfield, and he has like 4 or 5 other authors where I noticed that they all recommend each other's books to their audiences. And you know why they do this? Because they all write the same type of books. They all write books on self-improvement. Well, if you're somebody who loves self-improvement books, you're not just going to buy Jack Canfield's books. You're also going to buy other people's books on similar topics. Same goes for art. So if somebody loves your art and they're following you, and then you recommend to your audience your friend's art, which is in the same type of theme or genre, so to speak, they're going to then love both of you. So this is why you want to collaborate with other artists that are doing similar work as you, and you can all help each other. So that's the homework I'm giving you today, is take one of these suggestions that I made today and put it into action right away. I hope this was helpful. Give me a follow if you're listening to this, where you can leave a comment, listen to my podcast, follow my YouTube channel, and check out my blog at mariabrophy.com. Thanks. Love you all.